So now let's see the 11th experiment of our big data analysis. What we need to do, we need to write our program to create a bell curve of random normal distribution. So the code, the only 3 line of codes are there we need to write. So let's start with this function. I will explain each and every function so that you can easily write at your external order. So what you need to do, we have a rnorm function. So this what is rnorm function? So rnorm function basically used for generating a normally distributed random vector. So from name itself you can get an idea. It is a random. R stands for random, and here is a norm. Norm stands for normally distribution rate. So we have a function called rnorm. So in that rnorm function we have 3 different parameters that we need to pass. First is the number of random variables to generate, means how many number of random variables you want to generate. Second parameter is the mean. If it is not specified, by default is 0. What is the mean of the data? Means it is like centered apart, and SD is the standard deviation value. If it is not specified, default value is set to 1. Standard deviation means how much data is spread away from its mean value. So by default we are passing here 1000, 500 and 100. So similar way we have rnorm function which will take 3 parameters. First is the number of data points you want to generate randomly. Second is the mean value that you want to take, and third is standard deviation value, that is how far away your data from the mean. And we are going to put it into the floor function to trim the values. And after that storing to floor, we are storing it into n, and to give it some fancy look, we are going to store it into the table. We are going to make use of table function. We are going to pass it to the table n, and now we are going to make use of a bar plot to plot the diagram. So now you can see this, the data is distributed normally. So this is nothing but a normal distribution of a data. This is nothing but a bell curve, as you can see that. And for this we have used one function called rnorm, that is nothing but a randomly distributed data which is normally distribution, in which first parameter is nothing but random data points, second is mean, and third is standard deviation. And table function to give it a look like this axis and all. And we have used a bar plot finally to draw the diagram. Now second program is to create our program to create a simple bar plot of 5 subject marks. So here according to our program, what is our problem statement? We need to write our program to create a simple bar plot for the 5 subject marks. So for this we need to first take the marks of 5 subject. So we have stored all the marks into marks vector. You can see from this. After that, to draw the bar plot, we have an inbuilt function in R called bar plot. In that bar plot function, first we need to specify the what marks we want to plot with the help of this variable called marks, which is nothing but a vector. After that marks, we need to define what you want to give a title to that bar plot, such as a main. In that main, you need to write what title you want to give to your bar plot. So main attribute is there, or main parameter. After that we have x lab, means what you want to show on x-axis, like a marks, and on a y-axis what you want to show called y lab. And next on the x-axis, what are the names you want to provide? So this is nothing but names dot argument. And after that, what is the color you want to take? This is a optional attribute. If you don't give this also it is okay, but I am giving. Now you can run this cell. Double quote is missing. Yes, you can see that So nothing but we need to draw a bar plot. For this we have inbuilt function called bar plot. In that bar plot function we need to pass an marks vector which is defined here. After that we need to define what is the title you want to give with the help of main attribute, and next we want an x lab and y lab, what you want to show as a x label and what you want to show as a y label. And on x axis we need to pass an argument list that what you want to show as a x labels in that names dot argument function, names dot argument parameter, names dot arg, and you can specify color if you want according to our need. Next our program is to write our program to create an array with 3 columns, 3 rows and 2 taking 2 vectors as input to the array and print the array. So how you can create our program with 3 rows and 3 columns. So you can see that I have taken first 2 vector from which I'm going to create an array. So basic difference between vector and array, that is vector is a one dimensional while array is a multi-dimensional. To create a multi-dimensional things we need to use this array function. In that array function I have passed these 2 vectors which I have defined above with the help of this array function. In that first argument is vectors what you want to combine. So I have taken 2 vectors v1 and v2 and I have specified the dimension like what I want, 3 rows and 3 columns, and of total two arrays will be there. So as you can see that this array function first take vectors that you want to join or want to create an array with the help of these vectors, and second dimension how many rows and how many columns and how many arrays you want. So 3 rows, 3 columns and total 2. So this is the first, this is second of 3 rows and 3 columns. So 11th practical is done. So now let's move towards our 10th program. So there are total again 3 problem statements according to batch. So in that first program is write our program to create a data frame which contain details of 5 employees and display the summary. So we can easily do this with the help of data frame function which is inbuilt in R. I'm only copying this code to save a time. Otherwise I can also write this code, but to save the time I'm going to copy this code. But I will explain all the code very properly so that you can't get any problem while explaining to the oral. If you have any query, you can contact me anytime. So here you can see that we need to write our program to create data frame. So we can easily create a data frame in R with the help of data.frame function which is available in our data.frame. In the data.frame we have different arguments that we need to pass. So in the data.frame function, first we can pass the different columns that we want. In the data frame function we are going to pass name column, second is the gender, third is the age, fourth is the designation, and fourth is the SSN. So according to our need we can specify the column name that we want, and we can pass a list of vectors that we want according to our need, and we can print the employees with the help of print function. So you can see that you can get an easy data frame of the details of about the employees. I think you can also get a summary of data frame with the help of summary function. I think let's try. Yes, you can get a summary of a data frame too, but due to some width issue, it is not properly seen. But you can see that we are getting some median mean information about the data set, like what is the mean value present in the data set, what is the median value, what is the first quartile value, what is the minimum in that age table and all. If it is a numerical data, you can get easily information about their mean value, maximum value and all. After that, our next program is write R program to create a list of heterogeneous data which include character, numeric and logic vectors. Print the list. So as we all know that we have different types of data structures or data types available in R. So we have a list and vectors. The most basic difference between list and vector is list is basically heterogeneous while vector is a homogeneous. So it's a homogeneous means it will store a data of similar type, but if it is a heterogeneous, it will store the data of dissimilar type. So here they are trying to create a list which is heterogeneous. So let's see. We can define a variable called mylist, and we can make use of a list function directly. And this list function we can specify whatever data we want of heterogeneous data type. First I'm going to write my name. After that I can define my age. After that you can also define your degree. After that you can also define some floating numbers and all. After that you can easily print that list with the help of mylist function. So you can see that the different data types are stored into the list which are heterogeneous. Next we need to write our program to compute the sum mean product. So basically if whenever you create any vector, so let's start by creating that v is equal to c of 1 comma 2 comma 7 comma 4 comma 10 comma 15 comma 50. So after that you have different inbuilt functions available. You can directly use print mean of v. This function will give us the minimum value which is present. Then we have another function called max of v, which will return a maximum value which is present in our vector. And third is basically print mean. For mean you can pass the mean function. You can get an easily mean is nothing but an average. You can sum up all these values and divide by its total number. So these are the different inbuilt function. You can look at it so that accordingly you can use. So now experiment number 10 is also done. Now look at experiment number 9. In experiment number 9 is all about basic creating variables and all. So nothing but what are variables and all. As you all know that variables are nothing but which is it is nothing but it's like a container which will store the value. So this is nothing but similar to is equal to only. We need to use this arrow operator like something so that this value will be stored in this variable. And similarly we have different loops available. In this we have used for loop. So let's see in programming if you have any doubt. So I'm going to create one variable called name. For storing that value into that, we can make use of this arrow operator. We can specify whatever value you want to store. After that also you can write a for loop for if you want any. So you can say for. After that you need to define a variable you want to x. After that in what list you want to for. So for loop x in 1 colon 10. So it will automatically for between 1 to 10 number, and if you want to print we can directly print, and we can print the name too. So you can see name is printed, and also for loop we have used. In that we have used this colon operator, so it will act as a list and it will for loop between all the number between 1 to 10. Next, what is function? So functions are nothing but a set of code or piece of code that we can use anytime when we call that. This will help us to reduce the complexity of code. So we can define this function with the help of function keyword. Then whatever function name what we want, like what is my name, what is my name. If this any function if in that we can pass any argument if you want, otherwise keep it as a blank. And in that this is a function body where we can define the function and we can return any value that we want. So for example I am passing one variable called name, and I'm going to return that name plus another extra string with that. At last I'm going to call this function. Let's try with only name. It says I forgot to store it into one variable name. Let's see with this function only. Now we need to call this with the help of this function name. You can see hello world is printed. In similar way, I'm going to pass an arguments into this. So you can see name is also printed. Experiment number 8, 7 and 6, I think all it's about Power BI. So you should look into this Power BI, how it works and all. Now 8 is all about RStudio installation. You can look into this. You can look what are the different steps which are required for installing RStudio into your PC. 7, 6th and 5th is all I think about Power BI. So it's all about how to visualize the data into Power BI, how to load the data set and all. So you can download this data set from the Microsoft Power BI website and practice on that, so that you can analyze their sales and all, and accordingly answer the different questions. Thank you.